Hi. First of all, congrats, Naval. What a fantastic lineup today. And I think in terms of the subject for today, it's absolutely on the ball. I don't have a clicker, so I do now. Okay, great. Thank you. This is not meant to be a lengthy session. I'm sure there's a time, et cetera, that we have to get to. When I was told about the Bani world, which I think is a very interesting concept, the fact is that everything that we do as brands and as businesses has to then talk with an agility like never before. Because in a Bani world, if things are non-linear, if they're incomprehensible, then think about it. What are those plans that you've made 3 months ago, right? So I'm going to talk about how do we build culturally agile brands. I come from a category that's all about culture and playing in culture. A disproportionate amount of our thinking and our budgets and our executions are experiential. So a lot of it is about the context, where the consumer is experiencing the brands and not just a piece of communication. And therefore, I'm really happy to share some of the examples as well by the end of this session of where we have demonstrated agility, which you wouldn't have seen maybe in this category 5 or 6 years ago. And that's because the attention economy has collapsed. Naval spoke about it, right? What's competition looking like? Where is it coming from? It's coming from all over. The world is not just flat, it's constantly changing. And if there is very little attention you can guarantee, it's because today the consumer is not giving brands a window. It's true. As much as they may love my brands like Johnny Walker, they are not giving us the attention we want or we think we should get. And so in which case, really, how do you even start to look at getting attention from consumers and to participate in their world, really? Because, look at this, 50% of communication has absolutely zero impact. And this is a study not from my own media partners, but by a different media house called Havas Media, right? 50%, yeah? People are scrolling at the speed of light. Yeah, 6.5 posts per second. More than 10,000 messages a day between Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, or rather X, Threads, you name it. And then there's WhatsApp and everything that brands are doing to engage with consumers on WhatsApp. The sad part is, for people like me, 77% of brands could vanish today from the world and consumers wouldn't miss them. Think about it, right? It's a huge existential threat, huge. And in that world, brands becoming wallpapers on your desktop or getting into, just static, immovable thoughts, purpose, positioning, branding, completely irrelevant. Who cares? You'll be safe, yes, but you'll also be very, very forgettable. And if you're forgettable as a brand, if you don't have any awareness, you're dead. Right? So that's really the world that I am facing as a marketer. Very, very different, by the way, from when I started as a brand manager. My media plan was all about understanding how many spots I could get of advertising on Chhayageet and Chitrahar. That world doesn't even exist anymore, right? I mean, we used to really jockey and say, boss, mera ek spot, wo bhi break ke baad. That used to be the height of achievement as a brand manager. So, in this world, where brands are getting more and more forgettable, how do you adapt? And agility is all about adapting, yeah? So, it's a whole new operating system. There was a time when agility was an operational advantage. Kal mujhe ek sponsorship proposal mila, tomorrow I will go out and execute. Agility is not about adapting to an operational piece. Agility is now a weapon for my team. For my brands, it's a weapon. Am I more agile in sensing everything that's happening around in this brittle, anxious, non-linear, incomprehensible world, right? And therefore, as a brand, you cannot be outpaced by a consumer. It cannot be that the consumer has moved ahead and as a brand, you're still talking about something that happened 6 months ago. Consumers today and their interests, everything that they want to engage with, their cycles are now shifting much faster than our ability to create that perfect piece of advertising. It doesn't happen anymore. You'll take 6 months to create advertising. The whole context you've created on doesn't exist anymore. So what are you going to do? How are you going to engage with people then? And this whole idea of also having one message for everyone doesn't work. Each one of us want brands to appreciate us for who we are, right? Equally, agility is also the reason why some brands will survive and other brands will die, yeah? We've all got the old stories of the past, right? Why Xerox died, it didn't adapt. Why printers died, they didn't adapt, yeah? All kinds of brands that did not adapt to the world today. But today, brands are fading. It's not like they don't exist anymore. They've faded from attention. I still remember the name Xerox. It's still a great brand name. But people don't even understand and don't even remember your brands. So that's the world that we have to fix. And plus, in this world, signals are becoming more important than a positioning platform on a focus group that happened 3 months ago. How many of you have attended focus groups over here? How many people? Okay, just one person. That's interesting. The signals you get from social media, the signals that you get from various other, cultural contexts are today becoming far more important than a piece of consumer research. And therefore, there is a big shift. So we're going to an engagement economy. None of this is new news for us. It is about engagement. The difference is, it is not just about getting attention. Engagement goes way beyond, right? And engagement is the way in which you connect with your consumer in a given context, in a given situation. So it goes from attention, which is the attention economy, to interaction, which is co-creation, collaboration. These are words you've heard of before, never been more important. From one-time transactions to relationships. I know all of us hate, absolutely hate that point where we get that message on WhatsApp to say, thank you for buying and connect with us here, right? So what do you do in a time when it has to move to a relationship? But you know what? Consumers possibly do not want a broadcast message. They don't want a message that's the ultimate broadcast going to every single consumer who's bought something. They want a dialogue. They want to know, so you just bought XYZ face oil, right? I'm making it up, guys. What about, have you ever thought of a regime that consists of 1, 2, 3? Or tell us about the brands or the products you have. So a friend of mine narrated this incident a couple of weeks ago. She said she came back from traveling and she felt like her skin had, got badly sunburnt. And she decided she didn't want to buy anything. So she took a picture of all the products that she had on her shelf and posted it to AI. AI, right? ChatGPT. And asked, what skincare regime could I follow for a sunburn using the products that I have? Obviously, the prompt was a little more sophisticated than that. It actually came back with a nice regime. She used all the products she had. She did not have to go to a dermatologist. That's how the world of brands and brands messaging is being disrupted by something like AI. Try it sometime. For all of those who've got all of these products in your cupboard, pull them all out, put them on a shelf and say, what's the regime I can follow with these products? Okay, she probably had a lot of products in her shelf, but that's a different story, right? So in which case, how as a brand, are you going to continue to engage into dialogue with consumers if AI can take the mickey out of any algorithm that you're following? So it is about deeper meaning. And it's not about being fast, it's not about being present everywhere, it's not about being visible everywhere. Plus, it's not about a trend. A lot of people think agility is about hijacking a trend. There's a trend, there's a video, there's a viral moment, there's a song that's really hitting the top of the charts. That's not agility. Agility actually is way beyond hijacking a trend because that's going to give you a short-term spike. And that's great. But that could also be a significant waste of media and resources, right? Because when the song is trending, that's when it's the most expensive asset to buy or to associate with. So agility is proactive. It's not reactive. And proactive in terms of more than speed, it's precision, it's strategic, and it's also very emotionally sticky, yeah? So we don't like to chase moments in Diageo. We are not going to be the people who are going to come to you and say, hey, listen, latest song, put this for me. Latest singer, put this for me. And let me give you some examples. Day of the Dead is a cultural moment in Mexico. Can you think of a single part of India where we celebrate the dead? Zero, right? हम राम जी का जन्मदिन हम मनाते हैं, right? हम कोई मरण दिवस नहीं किसी का हम मनाते. In fact, we have a very opposite idea of what you do, which is culturally very relevant. How do you take a cultural moment like Day of the Dead? You bring it alive through experientials. You bring it alive through partnerships. You take it into outlets across the country. But then you also make it culturally relevant in India. So we did it with marigolds, which are, by the way, a part of Mexican culture as well. And we created beautiful altars. We reinterpreted what it meant to celebrate the Day of the Dead. So think of a day when you look back to all the people who are no longer with you, and you're actually thinking of them with love and affection and celebrating their life. Celebrating someone's life, that we do as Indians, because we have very strong associations with them. We still did it in a very, very authentic way, right? We still did it with the bread of the dead. If you can believe it, it's actually called that, pan de muerto. Very, very tasty bread. We still did it with cocktail experiences from Lair and Casa Paradox, which are on the top bars in the country. We did it in Mukesh Mills, by the way, which has a reputation of being slightly haunted. Yeah? And then we called some of the most influential people in Bombay to come and party there, closed, guest listed only. And we celebrated through the night. And then we took it in micro events across the country. You'll ask me, what's agile? What's agile is making this cultural relevant. It's not about taking something and copy paste and get it going. Is it adaptation? I think it goes further than that. The cocktails were inspired by Mexico, but had a taste of India, right? So agility is the ability to be strategic at the same time to actually put the right kind of engagement and interaction. And the kind of media and the reach we got is way beyond what we wanted on brand Don Julio. It was a moment that everybody wanted to be a part of and be engaged in, right? That 250 million. The other piece on agility. On Johnny Walker, Black Label. Everyone claims, I know what Black Label is. My father drank it for years. What's the big deal? Actually, they don't know what Black Label is about, because Black Label has a flavor profile that's unlike any other. And that is a challenge for us, that people will start assuming they know everything about a brand. And Johnny Walker is, of course, a 200-year-old brand, so think about it. If everyone comes and says, I know all about your brand, I don't need to know more, we're in deep trouble. We partnered with the top 50 bars. And this, by the way, started just about 4 to 5 weeks ago, right? Where we've partnered with the top 50 bars across the country. And we've gone in and we've let them create custom menus. Because if you go to a top bar in India today, or a top hotel, and go and tell them that this is how you will serve Johnny Walker Black Label, they'll say, but why will my consumer come here? Why will they not step out and go to the next bar on the street, right? If everyone is delivering exactly the same experience. So imagine tailoring your experiences, and we called it whiskey experiments, because we want people to have fun, to engage, and what happens when there's a different flavor or a different taste? You look at it and say, I've never tried this before. What's this about? What's this new flavor? Can I try it? Can I make something different out of it? So whiskey experiments actually has done really well for us, because in a short period of time, you've got conversations going. Conversations about a brand that people thought they already knew about, right? And that is the agility that you've put in. So agility is not trend jacking, yeah? It is all about reinterpreting and evolving your brand to the context. The largest whiskey in the world. What will someone tell you about this? Friendship Day. Everyone's been through it. Everyone's given roses or eclairs or chocolates or whatever they want to their friends, right? We actually took it out of a normal context and placed it on a plane in the sky. That's not agile. That's been done before. What we created was a friendship jam between some of the best and most loved musicians. And then all the content that came off it, it was on air, across media, across social media platforms and otherwise, in ways that were surprising. So what was agile about it? We didn't know what content's going to come out of it. We didn't know what the song is going to be about. We didn't know what the conversations will be about. We didn't know what the anecdotes would be, कि मेरा दोस्त ये है, नहीं वो है. When was it? So all that we did was we set up a beautiful environment. Whatever we got out of it, we piped it out and followed it up with the same artists in various concerts, then talking about what they did, right? And how creative they could be together in a room. That was agile because on a brand like McDowell's, which is the largest whiskey in the world, and the only brand from India, to make it to the top 20 most valuable brands in the world, as per Kantar, most valuable brands in the world for Alcobev, right? It's right up there with Guinness and Johnny Walker in the world. We don't take risks. This is not about doing something that's cheap and cheerful for a short spike. This is a brand that's very, very valuable to our business. So that's what we did there. And finally, on Royal Challenge. Everyone thinks Royal Challenge packaged water is all about IPL. It's not. It is about engaging with people where they are, right? So we've actually shifted the brand activation universe because we do not want to be on the field. We do not want to be in stadiums where there will be different kinds of audiences who may not be legal drinking age and above. So we took it to a place where we could get verified data on legal drinking age and above. By the way, this is water. We still only talk to consumers who are legal drinking age and above. But we also took it and brought it alive in a new universe, in a new language of engagement, and actually bringing alive what the brand did in terms of making bold choices and how you can make it happen. The coolest thing that's happened today, when I opened my Insta feed, was seeing Smriti talking about her engagement. I don't know how many of you have seen her engagement announcement. She just epitomizes this brand in so many ways, and she's the brand ambassador for this particular beverage. The engagement we got is way ahead of what you would get for any TV campaign, even if there was Virat Kohli or Smriti Mandhana on it, right? Because it's conversational. And the reach, of course, is large enough. But reach is easy, guys. We can all buy reach. In conclusion, agility is not a tactic. Dealing with this non-linear, incomprehensible world is a reality, and it is a mindset. And that mindset is something that is going to set you up as marketeers for success. If you don't, you are going to be caught more often than not in a world where consumer attention is not something that you will get. And therefore, I hope I have got your attention to this matter, to paraphrase what's a trending phase right now, on X at least. Attention is valuable. Consumer engagement is becoming more and more rare. I wish you all the best on your journey to making it a fruitful, engaging growth journey for your brands. Thank you.